Welcome to the deep dive. Let's get straight to it. There's this huge issue right now with trust, specifically around corporate sustainability.
Yeah.
The numbers are pretty stark, aren't they? Something like 68% of consumers just don't buy the environmental claims companies are making. What broke?
Well, it feels like we've hit a tipping point. Years of, let's be honest, often pretty superficial promises, greenwashing.
Right?
It's finally caught up.
Hmm.
One source we looked at actually called it the great authenticity crisis.
Hmm.
Consumers, they're just not taking claims at face value anymore. And maybe they shouldn't be.
Right. There's been a lot of noise, not enough signal. It does feel like this trust apocalypse some are talking about. I saw that quote. Corporate sustainability theater finally collapsed under the weight of its contradictions. Pretty damning.
It is, and it leaves this big question mark.
Exactly. So in this kind of climate of doubt, could the fix actually come from something? Well, something most of us probably ignore, the QR code. Could that be the key? Not just rebuilding trust, but maybe even, helping the planet. That's what we're digging into today with MerchUX. Their founder, Stewart Irvine, he's got this interesting background, right? Digital stuff and sustainability.
Yeah, bridging those two worlds.
And their big idea is embedding verifiable proof right into products via these codes. So our mission today, figure out how they're turning these simple scans into, well, planetary healing.
And the first reaction you hear all the time is, QR codes. Seriously, weren't those dead?
Totally. A bit of a gimmick from, 10 years ago?
Right. And those old static codes, they were mostly just a link to a website. A bit boring, really. What MerchUX is doing is fundamentally different. Their codes are dynamic, they're serialized, each one is unique, and they're designed to be transformative.
Okay. Dynamic, serialized, transformative. So not just a link. You mentioned thinking of it like a digital passport. Unpack that for us.
Yeah, think of it like that. Instead of just pointing to a generic page, each code is like a unique ID for that specific item. It unlocks real-time data about its history, its materials, its impact.
It's a specific journey.
Exactly. And crucially, scanning it doesn't just show you information. It can actually trigger verified actions in the real world.
Actions. Okay, now it's getting interesting. It's not just transparency then, it's active. Tell me about this regenerative QR infrastructure they talk about. Sounds quite grand.
It does, but there's substance there. So they're using GS1 compliant codes. That's important because GS1 is the global standard, so it works with existing systems.
Right. Practical. Interoperable.
Yes. And the regenerative part, that's about how the system is built. It essentially turns a regular product into what one source called an interactive conservation engine.
Wow. Interactive conservation engine. I like that phrase. How does the engine, how does it actually run? What happens for me, the consumer, when I scan one?
Okay, this is where their partnership with EarthToday.com gets really interesting. They've built in this concept called the EWAN, unit of nature. It represents 1 square meter of endangered nature that gets protected.
Right.
So you scan a MerchUX QR code on a product.
Right.
And that scan directly triggers the protection of a specific square meter via Earth Today. It creates these measurable pathways from purchases to planetary healing, as the source material puts it.
Okay, let me put myself in the shoes of a skeptical shopper. I'm in the aisle, I see this code, maybe I roll my eyes a little, but okay, I scan it. What pops up? Walk me through it.
Instantly, you'd see verified info about that exact item. Where the cotton came from, how it was made, its footprint maybe. But here's the kicker. The scan itself also just protected a square meter of, say, rainforest or threatened coastline, facilitated by Earth Today. You see confirmation right there. You didn't just get info, you actively did something.
Wow. Okay, so it's immediate and verifiable. How's that different from, a company saying, we donate 1% to save the whales, or buying carbon offsets? Those feel a bit fuzzy sometimes.
That's the core difference, really. Carbon offsets. Donations. They can feel abstract, right? Like, where does the money really go? How much difference does it make? The UN is designed to be tangible, relatable. It's not some complex calculation of tons of CO2 avoided somewhere, sometime. It's this specific square meter of land, protected right now because you scanned. It hits differently emotionally.
And I heard there's a visual part too. I can actually see the spot.
Exactly. You can go onto the Earth Today platform, use satellite maps, and basically zoom right into the square meter you help protect. See the actual geography.
Okay.
It provides concrete conservation geography they can explore.
That's powerful. Much more concrete than planting a tree that might grow years down the line. This is immediate safeguarding of existing habitat.
Precisely. And think about the psychological shift for the consumer.
Yeah.
You go from maybe feeling a bit guilty about buying something,
Yeah, the usual consumer guilt.
to actually feeling empowered. Your choice, your scan, had a direct, positive, verifiable impact. You're not just hoping the brand is telling the truth. You're part of the proof.
That feels like a genuine step towards rebuilding trust. Okay, so this engine sounds impressive, but how does it pay for itself? What's the business model for Merch UX? How do the economics work out?
It's built around creating value across the board, really.
Yeah.
Every scan generates data. Anonymized, aggregated data, but still valuable.
Data, right? Always data.
Well, yeah. For brands, this data shows what sustainability aspects consumers actually care about, where they scan, what info they look at, helps them improve. For conservation groups like Earth Today, it's a new scalable funding stream, and it shows which areas people are engaging with.
That for Merch UX.
For Merch UX, more scans mean more data. A stronger network, a better platform, which attracts more brands. It creates these network effects.
The flywheel. The more people use it, the better it gets for everyone involved.
Exactly that. One source called it a flywheel effect. Each interaction strengthens the whole system: conservation, brand insights, consumer experience. It feeds itself.
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate. Couldn't a cynic say this is just, really fancy, expensive environmental theater, another layer of cost passed on? How do you ensure its real value, not just smoke and mirrors?
That's the crucial challenge, isn't it? And the answer seems to be that it tackles multiple problems at once. One, verification. It gives brands a credible way to prove their claims, hitting that trust deficit head on.
Solves the proof problem. Got it.
Two, potentially new revenue or value streams. Better engagement, loyalty from consumers who value this, those data insights we mentioned. And three, the network effects build a moat. And the actual cost per scan, per square meter protected. Apparently, it can be incredibly low, especially when you compare it to, say, the lifetime value of a loyal, engaged customer. Plus, think defensible against regulations, like the EU's digital product passport, and against general consumer skepticism. This isn't just nice to have. It's becoming need to have. So yeah, the quote sums it up. It's solved verification, created revenue streams, built network effects.
Okay, you mentioned the EU digital product passport. That 2026 deadline is looming. That must be putting the pressure on.
Right. Huge pressure. It basically mandates deep transparency for products sold in the EU. Many companies just aren't ready.
Right.
So this regulatory wave and similar stuff happening elsewhere, it creates this massive window of opportunity for a solution like Merch UX. The timing seems pretty spot on. It's a window opening before regulatory requirements make it mandatory.
So getting in early isn't just about looking good. It's about practical compliance and building that trust before everyone has to scramble. Real first mover advantage.
Absolutely. Get ahead of the curve, integrate it properly, build those customer relationships now.
Yeah.
Waiting means a mad dash later, probably less effective, and missing out on leading the conversation. You've got regulations pushing, the planet needing it, and consumers demanding it. It's kind of a market timing trifecta.
Trifecta. Okay. So looking beyond compliance, what's next? Where could this tech go? You mentioned AI earlier.
Yeah, the potential seems really significant there. Imagine scanning a product and getting like an AI-generated immersive story about the actual ecosystem you just helped protect.
Wow, okay.
Or AI analyzing all the scan data to give brands predictive insights on sustainable sourcing, helping them make even better choices upstream. It could make the connection much deeper, much more personalized.
That moves way beyond just data points into actual experiences.
Yeah.
Very compelling. Okay, crystal ball time then. 5 years out, what percentage of products on the shelf might have something like this, a ballpark?
That's the million-dollar question. It's tough to put a hard number on it, but given the regulatory push, the consumer demand, the business logic, the trajectory feels strongly upward.
So significant growth is plausible.
I think so. As the infrastructure scales and those network effects really kick in, it wouldn't surprise me to see this become quite widespread for consumer goods. Maybe not everything, but a substantial chunk.
Fascinating stuff. This has been a really insightful deep dive, so let's bring it home. For the CMOs listening or the VCs tuning in, what's the key takeaway? What should they be thinking about right now?
Okay, for CMOs, this looked like a real chance to build competitive advantage. It's about getting ahead of regulation, yes, but more importantly, it's about authentically connecting with consumers on values, rebuilding that broken trust. It's a tool for differentiation.
Right. Build trust, beat the rush.
Exactly. And for VCs, think infrastructure. This looks like a scalable platform play, addressing a massive market shift towards transparency and impact. The network effects, the data potential, the regulatory tailwind. It ticks a lot of boxes for a strong investment thesis.
So the underlying vision here is pretty ambitious. Every product telling its own verifiable story, every purchase actively helping ecosystems.
That really seems to be the goal, yes. Shifting commerce from purely transactional to something potentially restorative. Making environmental benefit, just part of how things work.
A powerful idea. It really makes you consider the future of commerce being written, maybe quite literally, one scan at a time.
Well put.
So if you're out there thinking about how this kind of regenerative infrastructure could fit into your business or your investment strategy, it definitely feels like a conversation worth having. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.